Hi everyone, today's class 5, we're going through our squat clean, and that is going to be using our front rack position. So we need to focus on our wrist, elbow, shoulder, lats and mid back to open up all of those areas, and then eventually towards the end of the class we'll go through a little bit of the lower body so that we can get into that squat clean. So what we need for the class today is a mat, your chair, a pole, and we'll get started. So let's go. Okay, we're going to start with our squat clean pre-assessment. Hands onto the bar, have them directly underneath your shoulders, and then just move them an inch out and move the wrists towards your shoulders, the tops of your shoulders. Try and keep the bar on your collarbones by pushing or rounding through the mid back, but not rounding, just having a little bit of protraction by pushing the elbows forward. Then just get your feet into position, just wider than a little bit of a squat, and then slowly drop down into that squat position and then come back up. Notice the difference from side to side if you're leaning, if you're unbalanced, and then just do this another 3 times just to feel where your mobility is at, and you really want to get your elbows up as high as possible. Last one. And then we're going to start with the class. So let's start by lying on our backs. Activating through the core as usual. And you're going to place your hands underneath your shoulders here. So hands underneath your shoulders, your fingertips facing towards the back of the room. And then you're going to lift the legs up into your tabletop position. In this position, try to keep the elbows close to your ears, as close as possible, and keep the whole palm of your hand down on the ground. Keep your core engaged, ribs down towards the hips. And then I want you to open the legs up a little bit wider, bring the knees in, hold it here. Keep this active mobility, trying to get the knees towards your shoulders, but also keeping your sacrum, the lowest part of your spine, down on the ground. So you're pushing the lower back down into the ground and keeping the knees up at the same time, as well as keeping your ribs down towards your hips. And then keeping this angle, I want you to try and take your toes to touch the mat, keeping your core engaged, and then lifting the knees back up again, keeping the sacrum down on the ground, pulling the knees up into the hips. So we're working into our hip flexors here, slowly down to touch. And lift, keep the core engaged. Don't hear any clicking, so really control the movement. Push the lower back down deeper into the ground as you take the feet to touch the floor and pull the knees back in to your chest, keeping the sacrum pushing down, keeping your ribs down towards your hips and elbows squeezed into your head. Keep going. 5 more. Pull the knees in and down to touch. 4 more. Pull down to touch. 3 more. Pull the knees in, keep the lower back down, down to touch. 2 more. Down to touch. And last one, hold it in for 10, 9, 8. Flex the feet, pull the knees in, lower back down, ribs pulling down towards your hips, elbows squeeze to your side. Really get that set up. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly hug the knees into your chest. And then we're just going to come into a normal dead bug. So taking the arms up overhead, and having the knees about hip width apart. Pretend like there's a block between the hands, so keep them nice and strong. And then you're going to alternate arms and legs. So taking the right arm back, left leg down to touch. Hold it here. Keep your lower back pushing down into the ground. Keep the hold here. And then switch. Taking left hand back, right toes to touch. Keep the core engaged, lower back down into the ground. Hold it here. And then we're going to go into 10, just sliding. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come back to tabletop hold. Keep your belly button pulling down to spine. Hold it here. Pretend like there's a block between the hands, a block between the knees, so they're very active. Now take right hand, left leg. Hold it here. Keep lower back pulling down into the ground. We're holding it. Toes to the floor, thumb to the floor, reaching the shoulder up into the ears and keeping your lower back pushing down into the ground. Switch sides. Left arm up, right toes to touch. Keep lower back down. It should start to burn. Keep pulling the lower back, ribs down, left shoulder up into your ears. Come back to tabletop and we're going to switch for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to tabletop. If you can do it one last time, then try and do it with me. If not, just take the knees into the chest and hold it there. Do what you can for the last bit. Keep lower back down into the ground. And then take right hand overhead, left toes to touch. Hold it here. Pull belly button down. Really feel that core activation now. And then bring it back up and take the left leg. Hold, keep your core active, lower back down on the ground. And bring it up and alternate. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug the knees in and we're ready to start with our mobility. So come up into a seated position and we're going to start with our wrists. Having your hands underneath your shoulders. And then you're just going to start doing little circles. So move towards the right, all the way into the left, all the way into the right. Big circles, just going gradually deeper as you can. Remember, this is only as far as you can go. Make sure that your elbow creases, the creases of your elbow are facing forwards to the front of the room. Keep moving towards the right, but big circles, so you're also including the left in this. Make sure your thumbs are pushing down into the ground. And then switch sides, so going towards the left, but still getting a nice deep motion through the right. Trying to get deeper each time, but making sure your palm of your hand is pushing down into the ground, but then also lifting through the center of your palm. So the center of the palm should be lifted, but then your knuckles and your thumb and your fingers should all be engaged on the mat. So really think about what I just said. It's an important fact to note for wrist mobility. So again, you've got to have your knuckles and fingers pressing down into the ground and pulling up the center of your palm off of the mat. Now we're going to go back to the right. So big circles this time. Elbow creases facing forward. Fingertips pushing down into the ground. Knuckles pushing down into the ground. And back to the left. Big motions. Keep your wrists strong, so when you're going over or forward, keep them pushing down. Last one. And now we're going to move forward and back. So again, pushing the fingers down into the ground, trying to make a lift in your palm of your hand and push the knuckles down. And then you'll start to see side-to-side differences if you've got a wrist problem, especially with this forward and backward motion. Keep pushing the knuckles down into the ground. Keep the elbow creases facing forwards. When you have your elbow creases facing forwards, this means your shoulder's in external rotation, and that is locking the shoulder joint in a stable position. So even in handstands, you want to have elbow creases facing forwards. Now we're taking the fingertips back. Remember, thumbs on the ground, elbow creases again forward. All your fingers are nice and active and lifting through the palm. So your palm is just like a vacuum pulling up, but everything around it is pushing down. Keep moving here. This is really important. Five more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back again. Now your fingertips are going to face each other, but then you're going to try and get your elbow creases to face forwards. So bend the elbows and then straighten them elbow creases to face forwards. Bend and straighten. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're coming into a more difficult one. So you place your back of your right hand onto the floor with the fingertips facing towards the right side of your body. Take the left hand on the inside of your arm and place your hand down onto your opposite hand. And now you're going to twist to try and get your elbow crease to face forwards. And now we're working into our forearm extensors, which is our extensor carpi radialis brevis, a long word, ECRB. And this is very important to open up before our cleans. So keep moving that elbow crease forwards as much as possible, and then slowly let go. Take the left hand down, so fingertips facing towards the left side. Right hand comes from the inside, places the hand down on the palm, and then you're going to move your elbow crease facing forwards here. So you're twisting the elbow to go all the way forward. Very, very important for our cleans because this opens up into our pronators and our supinators as well as into our ECRB. Keep going. Keep twisting. It's active mobility. Really difficult, the act of mobility. Good, and then slowly come out of that. Now let's just do a little bit of circles around into our wrists, just to get them a little bit normal again. And then we're going to go into our shoulders and lats. So if your knees are getting sore, make sure you have a pillow underneath your knees, and we're going to use a chair. So similar to what we did with our overhead squat mobility, this time we're taking the elbows down onto the chair and our hands behind our head. So you're interlacing your fingers behind your head and you're dropping the chest down. Keep your ribs engaged, and then we're just doing little cat-cow movements here. Dropping the chest down and trying to protract the shoulders. Little movements. Getting active mobility. And you'll see you start to open up a lot quicker once you're moving through your cat-cow rather than just staying in one position. Round through the mid-back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Round and squeeze. Round and squeeze. Keep going. Round, squeeze. 3 more. Round, squeeze. 2 more. Last one. Keep your right elbow there, and then take your left hand down to the ground. So right elbow is still here, and we're just going to move from side to side. Working through the lat here, keeping your head facing forward. And keep trying to drop a little bit lower, a little bit deeper into this lat here. Keep moving from side to side, dropping lower and down a little bit more. And then switch sides. So taking the left elbow, hand behind the neck, securing the neck, looking forward, and then dropping from side to side or just up and down. Trying to get through your lat. What I try to teach is for you to feel where you are tight. So I get you into a certain position, and then it's your choice to see where you can go. It's not that I'm forcing you to move into different positions. I want you to be in the position and then feel what your body needs in that position. Come back to center, both arms, hands behind the head again, and we're going to see how much further you can go. So squeeze shoulder blades together and then round. Squeeze and round. Squeeze and round. 2 more. Squeeze and round. Last one. Squeeze and round as much as you can. Really round. And then slowly let go of your hands here. Taking your right elbow to the chair and then hand behind the head. But now your hand is resting on the back of your head and your head is pushing into your hand to drop your armpit towards the floor. Really opening up through the chest here or through your lats, but opening up the chest so that you can move through the back of your lats. Keep moving from side to side, up and down. Try and feel where you need that stretch today. And last one, moving. And then take it to the other side. Left elbow to the right side of the chair. Hand behind the head, and the head is dropping into the hand and trying to get your armpit down towards the floor. Keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Come back to center. Elbows onto the chair again. Now your head is coming through your arms and your hands are coming down to touch your shoulders. But I want you to try and push your chest down as much as you can. Push the chest down and then round. So bigger cat-cow movements. Keep going. 3 more. 2 and 1. Come out and off of the chair. Now you can come and sit on your cushion. Have the legs open nice and wide. And I want to see if you can take your right hand to your back, and then you want to try and take the elbow onto the inside of your knee. So you can do one arm at a time first before we try and go and do both arms. Remember, your wrist is at the back of your, or on your side. And then you're going to try and bring that knee in to the center. Try and push your right shoulder joint away. If it's rotating in as much as that, push it away. And then bring the elbow in, so that we're getting a stretch through our teres major here. I'm dropping a lot of anatomy words today, so don't let it scare you. It's just I'm working through specific muscles. Keep going. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the left hand onto the side of the body and then take the elbow onto the knee. And same thing again, you can push your shoulder joint away from you and then push your elbow towards the center or the midline and get a stretch all the way at that back of the teres major, a little bit of the rotator cuff. So here you'll notice side to side differences. A lot of people will have right side different to the left, tighter than the left, because we are right hand dominant. If you're left hand dominant, maybe your left side will be a little bit more tight. And then take the elbows, both elbows if you can. If you can't, just keep working on the side to side. And then you're just squeezing your elbows together. So as you can see, my right side's tighter because as I'm a physio, I work with my right arm a lot more than my left. So I need to work on my right, pulling in more. So keep going. If you've got both elbows, keep trying to get them to touch together. Try and get the elbows to touch. Keep going. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it here for 10, 9, 8. Push the knees into the elbows, elbows into the knees. Keep it active. Active mobility here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly let go of the arms. And we're just going to work into the shoulder joint slightly. So back to the chair. Elbow onto the right elbow onto the chair, and then your left hand goes underneath your arm, and then you're trying to pull on your shoulder joint to push it down. And then I want you to try and get your hand to extend back behind you. So your fingertips are on your shoulders. So we're getting into this front rack position and trying to get the fingertips to the shoulders, but moving through the shoulder joint to push it down here. Keep the elbow facing forwards and keep trying to rotate your wrist back so that your fingertips are touching your shoulders. Keep pushing down through the shoulder joint here and then switch sides. So for the left side, taking the right hand all the way around onto the shoulder joint, fingertips touching the shoulder, and again pushing that joint down towards the floor. So you really got to use the strength of the right hand to get that shoulder joint to push down towards the floor even more. Slowly come back up, back to the right side, fingertips to touch the shoulder, left arm comes around and pushes the shoulder joint down towards the floor. Really keep active in the elbow, so push the elbow down into the chair, and then you'll feel a deeper stretch through your triceps, or the top of your triceps there. Other side, last one. Push the shoulder joint down, even deeper. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back up and grab your pole. So you can be in a kneeling position, pillow underneath if you don't do well in a kneeling position. And now we're coming into our clean position here. So bring the pole onto your shoulder joints here and feel the side-to-side differences. If you feel like you have a stiff wrist, you'll notice that the bar sits unevenly on your shoulders. So you want to keep trying to pull the elbows up as much as you can. As much as you can. And then you drop one elbow, lift the left elbow up. And we're going to switch between the sides. Keep your fingertips just lightly touching the pole, but the pole needs to stay on the shoulder joints. Try and keep the pole at a level height the whole time as you move from side to side. This is getting active mobility to get the elbows under as you clean. So keep moving here. Keep pushing the elbow forward to get your serratus active in this position. Push, push, push. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just take the pole overhead and try and stretch through the shoulder here. Just easing it off. 2 more. Last one. Shoulders, hands underneath the shoulders, and again, reaching up. Switch from side to side. Keep going. 10, 9, 8, 7, elbows higher, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the pole down and move into your dolphin pose. So elbows onto the floor here, hands nice and strong, and palms pushing up, but the fingertips pushing down. And in this position, you can come from your knees and push into the shoulders and come back down. So try and get the head through the shoulders here. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here for 10 seconds. Try and keep your elbows pushing down into the floor so that your head is lifting away from the floor. Rounding a little bit into the upper back, not a lot, but just getting that protraction of the shoulders. And then slowly come all the way back down as we come into our ankles, just to get into a deep squat. So, top of the foot onto the pillow, and we're going to move forward, trying to get into the ankle here. Move your hands onto the top of your foot and move all your body weight onto your thigh so that you can get a stretch through the back of the ankle here or into the front of the joint. So keep moving forward. Five more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. Right toes onto the cushion and then hands onto the top of the foot. Body weight forward and moving through here. Feel the side-to-side differences, and if you've been doing all the classes, you'll know if you've got a side-to-side difference from the right or the left ankle. You'll feel the tightness, or you'll know you can't go further. So just work on that one side if that side is tighter. Come back to the other side. This time you're going to be pushing your foot down. So actively pushing your toes into this cushion, trying not to lift the heel, but if it comes off, it's okay. Then come back down. Actively push down and back. Push the toes into the mat and down. Push. This is just going to get some activity to get a deeper stretch through the back of the ankle and keep it or sustain that stretch for a longer period of time. 5 more. 4, push down. 3, push. 2, and 1. Other side. Actively pushing the toes and the sole of the foot down into the cushion. Body weight forward. Push. Push. Get into that deeper stretch. The deeper you go and the more active you can be is better for your ankle mobility. 5 more. Push down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, we are going to come into our post-assessment. So we've opened up through the shoulders and into the ankles. Now we come back. So hands underneath your shoulders, then just a little bit wider. You're going to move the back of the hands onto your shoulder joints, and already I can feel I'm a little bit more mobile this morning. And now take the legs into your squat position. Slowly drop down as far as you can go, and then lift back up. Do it 5 times. Go down as far as you can. Fingertips are lightly holding onto the pole. Keep the elbows lifted. Keep the chest lifted. 2 more. And last one. So today's focus was mainly going into the front rack position with a little bit of opening up into the ankles so that we can get into a deeper squat. But obviously we need to open up into the legs a little bit more to get deeper into that clean mobility. So I hope you enjoyed the class, and I will see you at the next one.